What up, guys and gals? This is Backwoods. How y'all doing? Man, hope everybody's day is going good and their week and their month and their year. And I really do, man. I hope everybody's time is going well for them. I know it's going pretty well for me. Things get hard, Shit, man. This heat, god dang, dude. It turned from mild, sometimes cool, to it's freaking hot. It was like 103 today, man, and like yesterday it was like 70 something, so yeah. Man, so what I wanted to talk about today is, you know, I don't know if I mean, I think a lot of people really do understand how rigged the system is against them, but I sometimes I don't think they really know the scope of it. I mean, and when I say that, like I voted for Trump, all three times, and you know, so me and my mama had this discussion, right? And because she's a Democrat and I'm not, and so we don't talk politics very often. It gets pretty heated pretty quick, but I love my mama, and I mean she's my mama, but she taught me a lot. But what I wanted to talk about was the system being rigged against us, and you know, if you look back, and I should have already had this pulled up, but back during, let's say, national debt during George Bush. Let's just see. The national debt was approximately 5.8 trillion at the beginning of his administration. This is 2001 to 2009. By the end of the term, national debt had grown roughly to 11.9 trillion. Okay, so in 2001, the national debt was 5.8 trillion. So if you look between 2001 and 2025, where we're at now, in 24 years, we have went from 5.8 to 37 trillion. Now, here's where I'm talking about the system being rigged against us completely, and the depth of it. If you look throughout that time from 2001 on, we had Republicans, we had Democrats, and the presidency, and that had a majority in the House, had a majority in the Senate, right? So the one thing I want to make sure that everybody understands is the president can write executive orders and talk a lot of shit, and he does have a lot of authority in certain areas. But the money being spent comes from the House. That's the purse. That's where the money. In the Senate, they do stuff, throw some stuff in there. They have budget committees, stuff has to be approved back and forth, yada yada. But think about that for a minute. We've had both Republicans in the majority and Democrats in the majority during 2001 until 2025. And when you start to think about it on that level, you have to understand that no matter who you put in office, it's It's rigged against us, man. They find so many ways to steal our money, to man, to tax us to fucking death, and they just spend money like it ain't nothing. And there ain't a whole very few of them, very few of them that very few of them that leave office, and they're not millionaires. Pretty much all of them that leave office, by the time they're done, they're millionaires, multimillionaires. $174,000 a year. They have bars in there that a bar in there that they freaking paid for by the tax-paying dollar. That's they sit up there and drink and fucking laugh at us, man. That's what they do. And I was listening to some stuff earlier, and people talking about, oh man, hey, man, you better prep up, man, prep up. You better do this, man. Get gold and silver. Well, just always remember, Republicans and Democrats have all been in power throughout this time. They're all millionaires, multimillionaires. They're all got that smiling face and tax you to fucking death and spend your money like it ain't shit. Republican and Democrat alike. Your Social Security and shit. Man, and then they turn around and they're giving all these illegals all this money and shit. They're giving them more than people are getting on fucking Social Security. And it's like, the Republicans are in power. Why don't they stop that shit? I know they're stopping it. I mean, I see where a lot of them's getting kicked off, and that's great. It's about fucking time. But man, it just, when you sit back and look at the overall picture, I've been trying to do this lately on a lot of things. We get, there's a lot of issues we could talk about right now. Iran and Israel. Are we going to nuke Iran? Are they really building a nuclear bomb? Or then I hear people talk about, well, they got enriched uranium and they could build one in like 15 days. Well, I mean, if you can build one in 15 days because you have everything in place, well, you pretty much got a nuclear bomb, man. I mean, come on. I mean, let's be honest about this, and dude, I mean, I'm just going to tell you, man, it comes down to one simple thing. Unless people are willing to do an armed insurrection, an armed revolution against the tyranny and everything, because they're going to call it an insurrection, obviously, but hell, they call us insurrectionists anyway, but the correct way, because we have a right and a duty under our Constitution to correct a tyrannical government. And until people are ready to do that, bro, I mean, you can go get all the gold and silver you want, because, back in, what was it, the 30s, somewhere, 29, I don't know, somewhere in there, they made gold contraband. They could do the same thing for silver. And you may say, well, but we can trade, back behind the scenes. Yeah, obviously. But at the same time, a little difference between then and now is there's fucking cameras everywhere. There's people's eyeballs everywhere, and all of them's got cameras. And if you don't think your neighbor won't drop a dime on you in a heartbeat, well, just go back to COVID. People were calling in on their neighbors. Hey, man, they're outside. They're going to give everybody the COVID and kill our grandmas, man. And what kind of shit is that? Go get these people, man. So, when you really break it down in that way, man, they, the sheeple, the normies, they've been trained, man. They've been conditioned. They've been conditioned to those that would give up their freedom for a little bit of safety. Those people. We've seen it a lot during COVID, right? They are making it, just to bring in, to this, what I was talking about a minute ago with the Republicans and Democrats, even Trump. Man, if you think about this for a minute, I mean, dude, he's like bringing in this AI and talking about making this surveillance and giving all this authority to the police. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've been sitting back here in my old shop building here and just, rattling some shit around in the old backwoods brain, and be like, man, is this dude, this sounds Gestapo and shit, man. I don't know, man. Bro, man, God dang, dude, man. Just the things that they are doing, man. These real IDs and shit, and man, I mean, you want to talk about, the way I believe, it's the mark of the beast, man. I mean, it's Trump's helping usher it right on in. Dude, they're all in on this, man. And like I said, man, go back to all them executive orders Obama signed, and as far as I know, they're still in play. Trump hadn't undone them. And they can take over any waterways, man. Yeah, dude, if you got a big pond in the back of your yard and they need some water, for whatever it be, I mean, same thing with the railways, same thing with the air, the, land and shit, man. Dude, all them executive orders are still in play. And, I don't know if y'all know about the executive order. Let me go look this up real quick. Wait. Order. It was on... Trump. Man, it had to do with the strengthening law enforcement, I believe is the right one. And you can look this up, and you can go straight to White House, the White House. This is the White House.gov up here. Man, I can't see my finger. Way up there, the whitehouse.gov, all that, go look at it. This, it's talking about by the authority invested in me. All right, Section 1, purpose and policy, safe communities, rely on the backbone of heroism. Tough and well-equipped police force. My administration is steadfastly committed to empowering state and local law enforcement to firmly police dangerous criminal behavior and protect innocent citizens. When local leaders demonize law enforcement, impose legal and political handcuffs that make aggressively enforcing the law impossible, criminals, they thrive, innocent people get hurt, business owners suffer, yada yada. Section 2, legal defense of law enforcement officers. The Attorney General shall take all appropriate action to create a mechanism to provide legal resources and legal resources to law enforcement officers who unjustly incur expenses and liabilities for actions taken during their performance. Empowering state and local law enforcement, man. I mean, it goes through there on Section 3, talking about seek enhanced sentence for criminals, strengthen and expand legal protections for law enforcement officers, all that good stuff. Section 4, using national security assets for law and order. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Attorney General and Secretary of Defense and consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security and the heads of agencies as appropriate, shall increase the provisions of excess military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to assist state and local law enforcement. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Defense, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall determine how military and national security assets, training, and non-lethal capabilities and personnel can most effectively be utilized to prevent crime. Talking about holding state and local officials accountable, use the Homeland Security Task Force, yada yada. So you can go look that up. It's whitehouse.gov, man, and it's strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. Now, the reason I brought that up is it just goes into what I've been saying about how all these people, how all of them have been doing, and stealing all of our money, and then you get a few people come and show it, and then nobody's been arrested. And so you have to ask yourself, are they making fun of us, man? Are they like, hey, look at all this money we've been stealing from y'all. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep doing it because we fix to sign a big, beautiful bill. Well, that big, beautiful bill is going to take $7 trillion more out of your pocket. Man, I'm just telling you, man, I'm not telling people not to prep or anything, man. Y'all, dude, you should prep even down to making sure the spare tire in your vehicle is aired up and ready to go. You should prep, everything you can. Obviously, I've got a whole crazy, janked up, but man, look at all that stuff back there, dude. I've got crap everywhere, man. I got a lot of tools. I got some, I got some food. You gotta, always try to prep or better yourself, gold, silver, obviously. I'm not saying don't get any of that. I'm just saying be careful to think that you're good, that, well, shit goes down, I can, I'm good. You probably will be. And it's a good possibility you will be, but just remember, there always is that little thing of how far do they want to take it, man. Let's say that we do get into a war with Iran and China gets involved, and somewhere in there Russia's going to get involved, and North Korea then is going to get involved, and then South Korea is going to get involved, and then Germany and France, and well, of course France, they're a bunch of pussies, and they'll buck up at first, man, and you slap them in the face a couple of times, and they take their toys and go home, and so. But you see what I'm saying, man. If shit really goes down like that, man, what if they say you got to turn in your gold and silver? We need it for the war effort, for payment, to pay this. And we got all these people in here in this country that came, that they just let flood in, right? So we got all these people. Well, shit, man. What if they start to buck up? They're saying upwards of, I've heard anywhere from 8 to 20 million people. Okay, let's just go 8 million people. Let's say only half of them buck up, because there's a lot of fighting age males. That's the only reason why I say half. So you get that, right? That's 4 million people, dude. That's a pretty substantial fucking army, man, if they really start wreaking havoc. And so, then you got martial law. Look, I'm sweating my ass off out here. It's 9:45 at night, man, and I'm literally sitting here sweating. It's hot, but if you think about it, let's just say 4 million. Hell, let's just say 2 million. Dude, that's a lot of damn people, man, that can create a lot of fucking havoc. And the government, could be like, hey, we need this. We need this. Hey, there's a bunch of troops over here in a town that you happen to live in, because there's, in a city, because there's a lot of this shit going on. There's a lot of fighting going on. I mean, hell, we're already seeing it with the ICE and all that, and the Antifas and the BLMs and the pro-Palestinians and the white liberal fucking women Malcolm X warned about. But you see what I'm saying, man? Dude, and then all them fighting age males that come in, there's a lot of them still sitting back in the shadows waiting on that. Hey, it's time to go. From Iran, big state sponsor of, terror cells and all that. I mean, I'm just saying, man, there's a lot of things that could happen. I guess I want people to understand this. I want people to realize that, it's not just because you got a lot of preps, that doesn't mean you're good. You should always have your head on a 360, man. You should constantly be preparing your mind. I've talked about this so many times. When you prepare your mind properly, things fall into place, and that's all I'm saying is that, don't be scared, be prepared, and understand what could happen further than your preps, because if you don't think that if the government, we go to war around the world, and you don't think that the government won't start going door to door, locking down places and towns, and dude, it's all over the internet, man. I mean, yeah, I know, you can buy silver sometimes, from certain places and yada yada, and from people, and you can do it under, and all you guys out there that I do everything, nobody knows anything about what I'm doing, you guys. Yeah, maybe, maybe, there's nobody watching, and maybe you did get away with it, but then again, you got it from somebody, didn't you? What makes you think that somebody don't go? The government's sitting there looking at them going, who all did you sell fucking gold and silver to? You see what I'm saying? Hey, man, yeah, homeboy over here, homegirl over there, homeboy over there. That's all I'm saying, man, is you gotta, sometimes you gotta go a little deeper rooted thought on this stuff, man, because, man, I'm gonna be honest. There's a part of me that thinks they've got us over a barrel, bud, and I'm always willing to, lace some bootstraps up and let's kick it, man. Let's do it. Who cares? I mean, we're already getting close to that point. But all I'm saying is just don't get overconfident, man, because when you're overconfident, when you feel that, you can't be touched, you get complacent. Whether you realize it or not, you get complacent. How many of y'all drive the same exact route to work every day? Back and forth. I mean, think about that. Just every day. Every day you go to work. How many of you drive the same exact route? And do you even know of if you have alternative routes? You know what I'm saying? You'd be surprised at the people that don't realize you can get from A to B by going, over here to this one first. You see what I mean? Going this way first instead of just going this way. But all I'm saying, man, is you got to think deep. These single issue things, you know, you focus on this, you focus on that. I like to stand back and look at the big picture and look at all of it, man, and read the whole thing and try to put the puzzle together. And when you do that, when you start looking at it from a standpoint, you know, of standing back and looking over the big picture and not letting one thing or two, you know, really consume everything you got. When you start to look at that and you dabble in all of it and try to pull it together, and that's the thing you always got to do, is try to pull this stuff together, because there's always a purpose. There's always a plan or a certain way that they do things, man. And just be careful to not get overconfident, you know, because, man, the system, dude, it's rigged against us pretty damn hard, dude. It's already where you can't hardly do shit, man, without an ID. First off, I mean, you know, dude, unless you want to, you know, go to you make your own bread, you got you a couple of cows out there, but even the cows, man, if you ain't got enough property and you got to supplement, you know, when they get sick, things like that, damn, you still got to go to the store and buy shit, man. And that's all I'm getting at, is that it goes way deeper than I think a lot of people are thinking, dude. You know, your refrigerator, I mean, you got to go, even if you have wood fire, you know, to heat your home during the winter, you still got to go out and cut that wood, man. Sooner or later, you're going to have to go out and cut wood, man. And people can hear trees falling. I mean, just, that's all I'm getting at, is that you're not as out there as you think you are, you know. And I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not fear mongering or nothing like that, man. It's just, be aware. You know, I want people to truly look at the big picture and understand what the possibilities are, man. There's a lot of possibilities out there of again, you know, just go right back to COVID, man. And man, people were telling on each other, man. I mean, dude. God dang, man, people were dropping dimes on their neighbors, on their family, disowning their family. I mean, think about that, man. People weren't able to go to their parents or their grandparents' funeral and shit. Dude, man, yeah. I mean, they literally had people, man. Dude, I saw this one deal, and dude had a mask, and he had invented this, and it had this little, like, rubber piece right here. Yeah, he had cut out, and he could squeeze this thing, and the motherfucker would open up, and he would take a bite of food and pull a spoon out and then let go of it, and it would close. We went into a restaurant, and they say, you got to wear your mask all the way around to the table. But I said, well, how am I supposed to eat my food, right? Dude's like, oh, man, you can take your mask off when you get to the table. I said, oh, so there's no COVID there. And he looked at me real funny, and he's like, I know, right? And I'm like, dude, I mean, for real. I said, I understand, man. It's not your policy. I understand that. You just work here, man. I said, I ain't trying to give you a hard time and get you fired. I said, but I'm just trying to get you to see the reality of what's going on here, man. I said, literally, you got to wear a mask all through here, but you can literally sit at the table next to someone else. I mean, the tables are right there. Tables right there. Tables right there. And you can take your mask off and eat your food and drink your drinks and, you know, hey, waiter, I need a refill, you know. So, I mean, people, they've already conditioned people. So that's all I'm getting at, is think on it on a deeper level, man, that you know, we may be up again it, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this little conversation, man. I know I ain't made a video in a while, and there's things coming. I'm working on stuff behind the scenes, man. It's going to be good stuff. It's going to be still a little bit. I'm thinking probably winter. I'm going to make some videos in between now and then, try to do some lives. But I'm thinking maybe winter. While everybody's cozied up next to the fire or in the heat, you know, trying to stay warm, we might have some video. We just might have some pretty good shit for you to watch. So, Anyway, I'm working on stuff, man. Just remember, guys, when you prepare your mind properly, things fall into place, man. Just, stay ready, man. Stay ready. Backwoods out.